Welcome to the debate. Today, we're delving into an analysis of two really incredible guardian breeds, the Rottweiler and the Cane Corso. These are, truly the titans of the canine world. Both demand absolute commitment and both trace their utility back centuries.
And it's just fascinating how two breeds originating from, similar foundational Roman dogs evolved into such distinct working philosophies. We are looking at the pinnacle of strength and loyalty, yes, but the way they apply that loyalty, that's where the real split happens.
Exactly. The core of our discussion is this. When we evaluate the strengths of these two formidable protectors, does the superior working companion ultimately lie in the Rottweiler's highly trainable, structured collaboration? Or is it in the Cane Corso's independent intelligence and, frankly, remarkable adaptability? I'm going to contend that the consistent structure and predictable partnership of the Rottweiler make it the most reliable dog for serious work.
And I'll be arguing that the Cane Corso's independent judgment and its deep-seated analytical mind make it the more sophisticated and adaptable guardian, especially when you consider the complexity of modern protective roles.
Okay, so the Rottweiler, or RW, represents centuries of refinement toward one single goal: collaboration. Its history isn't just about ancient Rome. It's about becoming an indispensable working companion. In Germany, where it became known as the Rottweil butcher dog, its job was intensely practical, herding enormous numbers of livestock and protecting currency and goods on the way to market. This breed wasn't some luxury guard dog. It was a non-negotiable part of the supply chain.
And that historical role clearly instilled in the breed a deep desire to stay connected to and be directed by its handler.
Precisely. Its temperament is intrinsically defined by this desire to please. The RW learns faster and, I think, retains training better than most working breeds. It just thrives in environments where consistent routines and positive reinforcement are the norm. When you see a Rottweiler, you see compact power. Males often pushing 135 pounds. That massive strength needs a clear outlet, a defined structure. The dog accepts the handler as the ultimate authority, which is frankly fundamental to safety. Its loyalty naturally translates into a wariness toward strangers, making it a stellar guardian, even without advanced Schutzen training. The dog looks to you for the answer.
But looking to the handler for the answer is exactly where the limitation lies. The Cane Corso, or CC, also traces its heritage to the Roman military, but it was selectively bred as the cohires, a term for a Roman guard unit, specifically for close quarters protection. This breed wasn't focused on herding livestock across distances. It was honing its ability to guard estates and noble families, a role that demands subtle, independent analysis rather than just compliant movement.
I think analysis is often a generous term for what is functionally a higher degree of difficulty in training.
Well, I come at it from a different perspective. The CC's intelligence really manifests in its profound ability to sort of read situations and people. It frequently makes nuanced decisions on its own. Now, a handler accustomed to the Rottweiler style might see this as stubbornness, but it's actually the dog conducting a sophisticated threat assessment. This intellectual independence is what makes its versatility possible. It can switch from a stern guardian to a tender companion with children in an instant. This adaptability stems directly from its mandate to exercise independent judgment. Physically, the CC is perhaps more elegant, 88 to 120 pounds, with a distinctly athletic silhouette that speaks to speed as much as raw power.
That notion of independence, that's where our central disagreement is, isn't it? The difference between a dog that wants to please versus a dog that needs to be convinced. I maintain that the Rottweiler's eagerness to please creates an inherently safer dynamic. The RW rises to training challenges specifically because it enjoys collaboration. Reliability in high-stakes work isn't about autonomous brilliance. It's about a predictable response under duress. Allowing a dog this powerful to make its own autonomous decisions under pressure just creates unnecessary risk.
Respectfully, I think that argument relies too much on human convenience. The source material emphasizes that the Cane Corso requires the handler to establish credibility. It needs to understand why you're asking it to do something, That is the very definition of a higher intellectual standard. We're talking about a dog bred specifically to operate when the handler might be asleep or distracted or even incapacitated. It's reserve, it's silent analysis. That's its superpower.
But that analysis takes time. In a real-world scenario, speed and immediate compliance are often the deciding factors. The RW's intelligence channels its autonomous thinking into seeking confirmation from its handler. It trusts the handler's ability to assess the bigger picture. I mean, if we look at advanced obedience or service dog work, the RW excels precisely because it's built for that close partnership. The CC's independence, while impressive, means its response latency can be slightly higher because it pauses to calculate.
But consistency can equal rigidity. A Cane Corso is trained not to bark at every leaf blowing by. It's trained to observe, to integrate sensory input, and only escalate when a true threat is identified. If you're guarding a large property, you need a dog that can operate 200 yards away and make the right call, silently, without constant commands. That independent judgment isn't a flaw, it's the premium feature of a traditional estate guardian. That's why they have such a reserved, almost stoic demeanor. They are always assessing. They don't need constant validation. They need mutual respect.
Let's look at that from a different angle then. The physical and structural commitment. The exercise requirements for a Rottweiler are not just about burning off energy. They impose a critical structure on the handler's life. The RW has massive energy reserves and requires, 60 to 90 minutes of varied, stimulating activity daily. If the handler fails to enforce this, you quickly face boredom and destructive behavior. The RW effectively forces the handler into the necessary consistency.
I would frame that consistency as rigidity. The RW needs a rigid schedule to maintain its emotional equilibrium. That suits some people, sure.
It suits the structure the dog needs to feel stable and secure. It thrives on it. Furthermore, the RW's physicality, that massive bone structure, the broad skull, the powerful jaws, it projects immediate, uncompromising strength. This visual deterrence is critical. You see a Rottweiler, and there's no ambiguity about its purpose.
The Cane Corso, on the other hand, demands plenty of exercise, but its intensity is different. It excels at intense functional activity like agility or hiking, followed by recovery time. This adaptability means the CC can fit into more varied lifestyles, provided their mental needs are met. Its sleek, powerful build speaks to functional athleticism rather than blunt force, making it more versatile.
But let's consider the practical implications of their physiologies. The RW, while susceptible to joint issues, doesn't carry the same acute constraints as the CC.
That's an interesting point, and it's true that the CC's shorter muzzle makes it highly sensitive to heat. But I actually see this as an advantage in terms of deeper family integration. Because the CC physically requires a temperature-controlled indoor environment, it can't just be relegated to an outdoor kennel. This forces the family to treat the dog as a core integrated member of the household. And this continuous proximity is fundamentally beneficial for a guardian breed that relies on subtle analysis of human social dynamics.
While integration is valuable, we have to talk about the overall commitment, measured in financial predictability and time. Both breeds demand massive commitments, but the Rottweiler offers a more predictable ownership experience. Its average lifespan is slightly shorter, 8 to 10 years, which means the commitment is intense, but it's defined.
And the Cane Corso typically lives 9 to 12 years. I mean, why would we penalize the breed for giving a dedicated owner 2 or 3 extra years of companionship?
Because the cost associated with those years and the probability of catastrophic health events is demonstrably higher. The initial price of a CC is often higher, yes, but the long-term veterinary exposure is the real concern. The Cane Corso is prone to a wider and more severe array of issues: dilated cardiomyopathy, bloat, autoimmune diseases. While the RW has common issues like hip dysplasia, the spectrum of potential catastrophic failure in the CC is broader. With a Rottweiler from good lines, the handler can focus on training. With a CC, the handler must also constantly manage the high probability of expensive medical events.
Let's be clear, though. Everyone dating either of these breeds must be financially secure enough to handle annual expenses that can top $1,500, not to mention higher insurance premiums. If you're unprepared for a $5,000 emergency surgery, you shouldn't own a 135-pound guardian, period. We're debating a marginal difference in risk. The slightly increased longevity and superior intellectual adaptability of the CC, for me, justify that slightly higher potential investment.
But why seek out that increased complexity? The REW's focus on the partnership simplifies the management of immense power. It offers a dog whose energy is channeled by the handler, whose aggression is controlled by the handler, and whose focus is constantly returned to the handler. That professional, low-variable performance is what's made the REW a preferred choice for decades of police work and service work. It prioritizes the handler's strategy over its own.
That preference in working circles often reflects a need for standardization, not necessarily superior intellect. The Cane Corso requires the handler to elevate their own performance. You can't lead a CC through rote commands. You must lead through respect and clear logical rationale. The partnership isn't manager and employee. It's a mutual intellectual contract. If you value a dog that demands you be a better, more thoughtful leader, the CC provides that challenge. Its protection is rooted in thoughtful self-determination. The Rottweiler offers centuries of proven working ability, unwavering loyalty, and unparalleled trainability refined for collaboration. For the active, focused handler who desires a closely bonded companion capable of excelling in structured work, the sheer reliability and collaborative spirit of the Rottweiler make it the superior choice. Its focus is on that human partnership, channeling its immense strength into predictable, effective action. The Cane Corso, conversely, embodies independent intelligence and remarkable versatility. For the truly dedicated handler who understands that a guardian must often act autonomously and who values a dog that thinks deeply before committing to action, the CC offers a partnership built on mutual respect and intellectual recognition. Both of these breeds require massive dedication and an experienced hand. The choice, at the end of the day, lies in which philosophy of protection aligns with the handler's own experience: reliable, handler-directed structure or sophisticated, independent adaptability.